Okay, so I started a video about, I don't know, 5 times now. And I can't seem to quite get whatever it is that, like this hair that just kind of keeps niggling me. I can't quite seem to put my finger on what it is that I'm trying to say. That the idea that I keep hearing, people talking, and it just sounds so stupid to me, that I don't love that person anymore. If they came in and tried to apologize, fuck them, things like that. Like, are you crazy? What? Like, I would love it if anybody that ever wronged me, or that I wronged that wouldn't accept my apology, I would love it if they came around and decided, yeah, I'd like some peace and, some harmony with this. I would love that. I would very much, applaud the effort. And the idea that I don't love people anymore, I still love every single one of the people that I don't speak to anymore, from my family, my tight-knit circle that was, my thing for the first 50 years of my life. This isn't about love. This has nothing to do with love unless you understand the context of it's because I love you that I'm not going to let you abuse me any longer. It's because I love you that I'm not going to let you be an abuser to anybody that I have governance over, which is, what do you know? It's me, I'm not going to allow you to continue toiling around and twaddling in your tent believing that that shit is acceptable, because it's not, that's not love. It's codependency to, continue to let people rail on in their abusive patterns and their doo-doo, it's not love when we sit around and allow people to be in these toxic cycles with themselves and us. They're allowed to be in their toxic cycle with themselves. However, they're not allowed to keep me held there in prisoner, to their bad ideas. As soon as I understand, oh, I got to jailbreak myself because this is some bullshit, I got to go now, then it's that very love that drives the whole train to begin with, is that I learned to love myself and find that unconditionally loving place in me that does not allow me to treat anybody else like that, and it damn sure doesn't allow them to treat me like that. What kind of love is that we have? What kind of conditional weird love is that whenever we have expectations, or we stop loving someone because they didn't do something, and then we start punishing them? Excuse me, I learned the hard way on that's a very jacked up understanding of love than what I feel in my heart. That love has meant something different to me my whole life, but it took me a long time, 50 years and a very ugly period of time in my life, separating from everybody I ever knew, to understand that other people don't love the same way. I love, period. Whether or not we're still friends hanging out or celebrating birthdays and special occasions together is irrelevant. If I said I loved you, it means I love you and I care for you. However, I don't ever have to lay eyeballs on you again in order to, keep believing that for myself. And it's not delusion for me to believe that. It's that I have loved people that didn't have the capacity to love me back appropriately or in a healthy way. I have loved people that were codependent. I have loved people that were highly toxic in my world. I have loved people that were destroyers and absolutely hated my guts, on the sly. That I just didn't notice that. However, it doesn't mean that my love for that situation or that person or those people was incorrect, wrong, or didn't exist. It means it existed in a vacuum. And it's unfortunate. However, the love wasn't the problem. It was the standard that I had for myself about how I was going to be expressing that and giving and, receiving that. Calling what I was receiving back from people love was not what I consider love. Conditional arrangements about what love looks like, that's not love. That's not unconditional. That's very conditional. And conditional love isn't love. It is conditional arrangement. And to me, unconditional allows people that, okay, you're allowed to be as big a monster, as big a boo-boo head as you want to be, as big a whatever you care to be, or the greatest expression of divinity that you want to be. Love, in my mind, allows me to tell you, hey, you get to do you. However, unconditionally loving another person does not translate to that they get to be a big D-bag in my world. They're allowed to. I'm not the one that stops. I'm not the D-bag police. It's not me, except for at my door. That I don't have to let monsters into my house just because I love them. I can adore a monster from way over here, and I do. I still love every single person that I ever say goodbye to that was a part of my inner circle. from 10 years ago, I still love them. It has nothing to do with that. It has absolutely nothing to do with that, except from the context of I love you and not enough not to let you believe that that terrible behavior you're exhibiting towards another person and to yourself, and slipping that standard down to it's okay for you to treat yourself and other people that way, allowing that to continue without at least being gatekept with, excuse me, you can do whatever you want to in your world, and you can believe whatever you want to, and you can treat yourself however you want to. However, you may not treat me that way and expect to get ongoing opportunity to do so. And I work with people as much as possible. Before I separated out from my whole life, I tried to say, this is awful, right? And that I'm not happy with this, and that I get a vote in my own happiness, and that it's not dependent upon you behaving a certain way, other than from a minimum standard of abuse is out. I don't have to tolerate that, Me loving you, I'll love you from way over here and never see you again, apparently, because you're choosing to live in that old paradigm of punishment, of I'm angry at the world and I'm taking it out on you because you're disappointing me just as much as everybody else does. When people have the power to disappoint me, I have gone way amiss. And I did not understand just how disappointed people were with me that, I'm thinking for myself now and it's pissing people off. They're suddenly getting very angry with me. And it was so confusing, like, what is it about me taking agency of my life that is a problem for you? What is it about me asking you to be held accountable for what I'm telling you hurts my feelings and hurts me? Is it unreasonable? Is it this? Is it that? I don't know. We could never get to those conversations because people flaked out and went in left directions where I didn't even know what they were saying. They just lost their whole mind because I didn't understand that, loving people does not mean that I stay silent anymore about what I see. It means I'm no longer going to be complicit with behavior that's abusive to me or anyone in my vicinity. And it also means I'm not going to be complicit with low standards of how love gets exchanged, how we show one another. This is not a matter of me being too sensitive. I thought for the longest time, that hurts my feelings. Well, it's me, of course, and taking full responsibility for the fact that, no, I have a standard of how I wish the behavior to be demonstrating itself out here. And it's pretty tolerant, pretty lenient. And I'm pretty easygoing about a lot of stuff. However, there was no standard whatsoever. And that was the problem. The standard is that I love unconditionally. However, I have a standard of excellence for the behavior that I allow to orbit around me. And by letting other people reach their lowest points of abuse and saying nasty things and doing nasty things and believing that that's okay, I'm not loving as unconditionally as I say I am. I have to step away, and here's why. And so I found that it's much easier to be honest with people, to be very clear and to be very honest about why I'm out of here. That no, I already went through a lot of years of misunderstanding, and once that light bulb came on, man, it was so glaring and obvious to me that I couldn't possibly walk away without saying the truth. I had somebody tell me this years ago that once you actually know the truth and you speak the truth, you'll never be able to stop saying it again. And it was true. Didn't understand what she meant back then. However, it made all the difference in the world to me that, I get it, that this isn't about love. This is about some very bad misinterpretation and bastardization of the word. And it's about codependency and toxicity and very, very, very dense, dark relationships with people that, this isn't what love is. This is not what my standard of love is. I don't believe it's the standard that anybody on this planet need take for themselves. However, I believe that's what most of us take because we somehow believe it's okay for other people to set standards for us, for other people to tell us what we are and what we deserve and what we don't deserve. And then we're busy telling them what they deserve too. And that conditional stuff, the minute that we are no longer playing by the conditions set forth by the rest of the whole freaking world, we lose favor quickly. Just go ahead and start standing up for yourself about anything and really hold your line on that and advance that line even further. You'll find out exactly how much loved you are. And boy, wasn't it a shock? And 9/19, the biggest relief in the world. It broke my heart, absolutely destroyed my world for a few days. However, I still contend that I'm glad that it happened, that finally things made sense, that all the confusion, all of the, I don't understand, for years and years and years and years and years. It's not you being broken in the love department, Kate. It's you being broken in the, communication department about how you're going to tolerate, how you're going to show up, and what other people are going to tolerate from you. This is about communicating needs effectively and in a healthy way. And when you're in a dynamic that is so dysfunctional and unhealthy, the only thing I could do was break away based on love. I can stand there and I can educate and I can bring, healing of all kinds if other people want to play that way with me. However, if they're still back there in that conditional loving thing, that's doing love in a way that hurts. And love is not painful. It absolutely is not. And when it's like that, that's not really, that's an attachment of some kind, and there might be love somewhere, buried down there really, really, really deep. However, it's primarily an attachment to something else that's feeding a part of us that needs more attention than that person can ever give it. So anyway, yeah, that's enough.